Good morning, evening, or night, wherever you are, welcome to WHAM today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time, as we wrap up Tuesday, 6th May, 2025. Let's see what stories are unfolding around us. India's stock market experienced a significant downturn, with the Sensex and Nifty closing lower, causing investors to lose approximately lakh crore in a single session. Amidst this volatility and ongoing tensions with Pakistan, analysts have suggested 6 stocks for short-term investments based on their strong fundamentals and technical analysis. GAIL India, a Maharatna ASU, announced its board will declare results for the Myanmar quarter in the third week of May 2025, potentially including a final dividend. The financial sector saw the debut of mortgage-backed pass-through certificates, PTCs, on the NSE, aiming to boost the housing and home loan markets. However, the IPO market is currently sluggish due to global uncertainties, highlighted by Other Energy's disappointing market entry. China faces adjustments in its garment industry as a U.S. tax loophole closes, pushing factories to seek new markets or cost-effective production sites. This directly affects Chinese retailers like Temu and Shine. Tesla is actively marketing its LiDAR-free self-driving system, while awaiting Beijing's approval for its full self-driving FSD technology. Alipay and WeChat Pay have reported a significant increase in inbound spending during the Labor Day holiday, largely driven by visitors from Hong Kong. This comes amid concerns among U.S. farmers about potential trade wars with China, particularly impacting the soybean industry. Turning to Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government is facing increasing pressure to address the housing crisis, with critics calling for more aggressive policy interventions to make housing more affordable. The latest data indicates that housing prices continue to rise in major metropolitan areas. Meanwhile, Canada is also grappling with ongoing discussions regarding its role in international security alliances, particularly in the context of rising global tensions. In France, President Emmanuel Macron is navigating political challenges as his party prepares for upcoming European Parliament elections. Recent polls suggest a tight race, with concerns over immigration and economic policies dominating the political discourse. The French government is also focused on preparations for the upcoming Olympic Games in Paris, addressing security concerns and infrastructure readiness. Over in Germany, the coalition government is facing internal disagreements over fiscal policy, as debates continue on how to balance budget constraints with the need for investments in infrastructure and green technologies. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is working to maintain unity within the coalition amid growing economic uncertainty. The country is also closely monitoring the situation in Ukraine, reaffirming its commitment to supporting Ukraine's defense against Russian aggression. The United States is facing legal challenges as state attorneys general sue the Trump administration over alleged obstruction of wind energy projects. Shifting international perceptions are also impacting the U.S. economy, with European consumers increasingly avoiding U.S. products due to President Trump's trade war. U.S. oil prices have dipped to $57 a barrel following an OPEC Plus decision to boost oil production, potentially affecting the viability of newer U.S. oil wells. Adding to the economic uncertainty, President Trump's proposed movie tariffs have stirred confusion globally, especially regarding the potential 100% tariff on foreign-made films and its effects on Hollywood. Taiwan saw its dollar reach a 3-year high, boosted by a weakening US dollar. Overall, Asian shares presented a mixed trading landscape. This followed a decline on Wall Street that broke a 9-day winning streak. In India, lower oil prices, decreasing by $2 after OPEC announced increased output, are expected to benefit the economy. Reliance Industries, RIL, Indian Oil Corporation, IOC, and Asian paints are potentially strong stocks. Several major markets, including Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and China, were closed for holidays. Europe's financial landscape is currently a blend of optimism and caution, influenced by global economic currents. European markets are experiencing upward momentum, spurred by signs of de-escalation in U.S.-China relations and robust U.S. employment figures. However, a cautious undertone prevails as investors brace themselves for the imminent release of corporate earnings reports, which are expected to temper market enthusiasm. Euronext is adjusting its ESG framework to encompass backing for European defense companies, signaling a change in strategic focus. Gamma Communications has been awarded Frost and Sullivan's 2024 European UHS Competitive Strategy Leadership Award. Meanwhile, French champagne producers and other European vintners are voicing apprehension regarding the stability of the U.S. market, notwithstanding the temporary tariff reprieve granted by President Trump to most nations for a 90-day period. Japan is navigating a complex geopolitical landscape, balancing its relationship with the United States amidst ongoing trade tensions between Washington and Beijing, with China actively seeking closer ties. Adding to the economic activity, an economic delegation from Abu Dhabi visited Japan to explore opportunities for strengthening partnerships. In the financial sector, SMBC, a major Japanese financial institution, is advancing its plans to acquire control of Yes Bank. Meanwhile, Japan's fintech sector continues to evolve, as highlighted in Norbert Gerk's Tokyo FinTech Report for May 25. Investment strategies, similar to those of Warren Buffett and Cabot Explorer, are also being considered in the Japanese market. Germany faces political uncertainty as Friedrich Merz failed to win a majority in the first parliamentary vote for chancellor. This initial failure has cast a shadow over his expected chancellorship and new cabinet appointments. German stocks reacted negatively to the political deadlock, contributing to a decline in the wider European market. Economically, Germany's private sector saw modest growth in April, reflecting an economy in flux during this period of political transition. South Korea's economy is seeing robust activity, with Next Trade's daily transactions climbing to 3.8 trillion won after its expansion. Gold banking balances in the country have also hit a peak of 1.1 due to heightened demand. Shifting to international relations, Hanwha Ocean is actively seeking contracts from the U.S. Navy, supporting President Trump's vision for stronger shipbuilding ties. A nuclear energy agreement between South Korea and the Czech Republic is anticipated to be finalized this week, further cementing international cooperation. Regarding financial technology, South Korea has introduced new crypto-friendly regulations, a decision that some observers believe is influenced by political considerations. Russia's financial markets saw ups and downs as investors monitored the MOEX index and varying share values. Dismissing certain international commentary, the Russian government downplayed President Trump's statements regarding oil prices and the status of Ukraine. Militarily, Russia claimed to have downed Ukrainian drones near Moscow, leading to brief disruptions at airports. Meanwhile, the European Union unveiled intentions to cease importing Russian gas by 2027. Turning to the United States, President Donald Trump is mulling the implementation of a 100% tariff on films produced abroad. This potential measure is reportedly motivated by concerns regarding the diminishing presence and economic vitality of the U.S. film industry. Saudi Arabia is contending with economic shifts, reporting a first-quarter budget deficit of $15.65 billion due to reduced oil revenues. The nation's debt has increased substantially, marking the largest rise since negative oil prices impacted the economy. Despite these fiscal pressures, Saudi Arabia is attracting international attention, with BlackRock and Citi CEOs scheduled to visit alongside President Trump. Benai Mellon has also obtained a regional headquarters license, signaling growing confidence in the Saudi market. In the aviation sector, Flynas, a Saudi Arabian airline, is preparing for an initial public offering, planning to list 30% of its share. Australia's stock market held steady as investors awaited the US Federal Reserve's monetary policy announcement. A downturn hit HMC Capital, its share price dropping after the company lowered its earnings expectations. Westpac, on the other hand, projected optimism, signaling that the nadir had passed, hinting at a resurgence in merger and acquisition deals. Tesla's presence in Australia is increasingly notable, with the company's battery storage solutions now generating more revenue than its electric vehicle sales, exceeding a total of $5 billion bail. In financial news, HSBC is preparing to initiate a substantial $3 billion share buyback program. Ukraine persists in its defense against ongoing Russian aggression. Drone attacks on Moscow have intensified, causing disruptions in air travel. The conflict continues to significantly impact global markets and geopolitical stability. Greece has refuted claims regarding the provision of air defense systems to Ukraine, clarifying its stance amidst the continuing tensions. The nation's position remains a point of interest as international support for Ukraine is closely monitored. South Africa is experiencing economic strain as its currency, the rand, reached an all-time low, influenced by newly imposed tariffs and anxieties about potential instability within its coalition government. Addressing persistent electricity supply problems, Eskom is actively investigating strategies to boost power delivery specifically to the country's wealthiest city. Amidst these internal challenges, South Africa's second-largest asset management firm is considering expanding its operations into East Africa. Furthermore, South Africa's global accessibility is set to improve later this year with the launch of a new international flight route. Canada's Daesang will highlight its Jonga and food products at SIOP Canada 2025 to boost its North American market share. Economically, the S&P TX Composite Index in Canada fell by 0.31%. Toronto is a hub for the Ethereum 10th anniversary celebrations, featuring events like ETH Toronto, and Canada Crypto Week. North America is seeing a shift in consumer behavior as Hispanic shoppers reduce their grocery spending, which is affecting major consumer companies like Coca-Cola, Constellation Brands, and Colgate-Palmolive. Turning to South America, former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro was recently discharged from the hospital following a 21-day stay. Meanwhile, in Rio de Janeiro, Lady Gaga's performance attracted a massive crowd of 2.1 million people, while police reported they had successfully thwarted a bomb plot. In Asia, Pakistan has accused India of restricting river flow, a move that is escalating tensions between the two countries. Vietnam is now displaying characteristics similar to China's industrial boom from 2 decades ago, attracting significant interest from Chinese investors. In Bangladesh, garment workers are facing potential setbacks due to tariffs, threatening the progress made in the nation's factories, which have become a global hub and significantly boosted national incomes. The Thai stock market is expected to consolidate on Tuesday. Singapore-based Smart Digital Group has recently gone public on the Nasdaq exchange through a $6 million IPO priced at $4 per share. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump are expanding their business ventures, including projects announced in Doha, Qatar, which could potentially provide financial benefits to President Trump. Indonesia's Danantara is reportedly in discussions with Eramet regarding a potential nickel deal. Over in Europe, copper cable theft in Spain caused significant delays for thousands of high-speed rail passengers traveling from Madrid to Seville. Elsewhere, home prices in Norway have experienced a decrease for the first time in 9 months. Finally, in the Middle East, Gulf markets are largely declining, influenced by falling oil prices and ongoing concerns over trade. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.